MusicGiveLife is a fully registered charity with the Australian government. We're a not-for-profit organisation and we are registered with the ACMC. We seek to work with Indigenous and non-Indigenous young people making music, helping the younger generation see music as a potential pathway for them in the future and to learn how to engage with music in positive ways.
So currently we have two projects, one here in Australia called Instruments For The Outback, working with remote Indigenous communities, and we've got Instruments For Ethiopia, which works with homeless or orphaned youth in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
Instruments For The Outback is a project where we seek to work with remote Indigenous communities who don't have the access to musical equipment and to music mentoring. So we seek to look for these communities and partner with them to provide them access to musical equipment.
We know that not everywhere in Australia has the same access to music education as well. So twice a year we take teams of music professionals, music teachers, performers, recording artists and also production engineers out into remote areas in Outback Australia to run really creative, dynamic workshops to really help strengthen the musical capabilities of young Aboriginal kids. And one of the really key elements of what we do is to try and encourage and revitalise Indigenous languages. We try to encourage the kids to be recording songs in their own language, to be writing songs in their own language, and really try to encourage that culture and bring that out.
We really want, as an organisation, to partner with communities. We don't want to come in and tell them what we think they should do or what we think they should play. We want to learn from them, we want to build a bridge with them, and through music we want to engage culturally. We want to hear their music, we want to celebrate their music, and we want to be able to share our music as well.
We're really grateful for the partnerships we have with some really special remote communities where we've been invited in by the elders, given permission to be there, and we don't take that lightly.
One day I was driving home in the car and I was listening to a radio interview, and they were talking about mental health issues and particularly youth suicide. And the figures that they were stating were just staggering to me, particularly in Indigenous young people. And so I thought, you know, we did Instruments for Ethiopia and we saw that that was successful and that young people were really proud of their music and really proud of becoming musicians. Maybe we could replicate that here in Australia. So I rang Levi and I just told him over the phone, I just said, you know what, I think we can do something. And so we birthed Instruments for the Outback.
So I remember the day that Andy called me, I was really just struck with the emotion in his voice and really connected with the vision. If we could be able to go with a team of like-minded musicians getting instruments into these remote locations where kids just don't have access to a music shop. Kids can't go down and just get some music lessons because there's no music teacher that lives just down the road.
Probably one of the most impacting moments for me was we had to supply a whole shipment of musical instruments to this particular location, and there was a lot of logistics involved in getting it there. And once they'd arrived on the barge and we got everything there, we were able to unpack all these instruments and set up a music room. And the moment when we got to unveil this room to the community was just really special. And to see kids running in there and going, oh, look at this, it's a guitar, oh, there's drums, oh, there's a sound system. And just to see the joy on their faces, and it just blew me away. I just couldn't believe that this was possible, that we could have made this happen.
Andy and I have been playing music together for over 10 years, and what we really have seen is the joy that music brings to people's lives. We really want to have that same impact in the communities that we visit, to show kids that this is an option for their future. So we really want to offer a pathway and a musical future as an option for the kids that we work with. We're really excited as well to find interesting links to bridge the gap between non-Indigenous and Indigenous Australia and share through the language of music. So as we take our teams there, we get to find out more about Indigenous culture. We learn the language, cultures and traditions of the Indigenous people groups that we work with. I remember on a recent trip to Gawa on Elcho Island, we had a final performance on the last night. We were there and 3 young Indigenous guys had formed a band. They're all ready for their final performance. They ditched Lulu, the lead singer, and so he comes in to sing alone, gets up to the mic and confidently starts to sing. His parents and uncles and aunties are there watching this guy sing. It was just this feeling of empowerment, of confidence building, and the crowd all stood at their feet, giving him this huge standing ovation at the end of the night. It's a really exciting thing.
One of the really important things to us is that we don't want to be seen as coming in and sort of delivering a whole bucket load of presents and then disappearing. It's really important to us that a community accepts what we have to bring and that it is going to benefit the communities.
To us, an ongoing long-term relationship is so much more important than providing resources. Actually going and being, and sitting in the dust, sitting around a campfire at night, learning to make a spear, going fishing, whatever it may be, learning some of the local customs and traditions.
We'd love to partner with organisations far and wide to provide these resources to these communities.
Our vision, our heart is to reach as far and wide across Australia as we can, and we just feel that there's so many kids in these areas that haven't had access before to musical instruments, to have that nurturing of their songwriting talents and raw abilities. If we can offer some of those things, we really feel we can see the next generation take things forward.